Welcome, mortals, to the Fantasy Football War Council's podcast. Here are your gods of war, Jonathan Arneson, along with Mario and Daniel Gutierrez.
Welcome into another meeting of the Fantasy Football War Council. I am your host, Jonathan. Repeating the intro over again. Sorry about that. And I'm alone today. Everybody needs a good rest and relaxation now that the season is over. So we've kind of taken a little break. So apologize for that. On today's War Council, we'll be handing out the end of the year awards. Again, sorry for the late episode on this one. Talking some NFL news, and then definitely affects your fantasy football teams. News of the Combine that came out that was last week. We're actually going to wait on the Combine news for the next episode. I want everybody to be part of that one. We have a few guests that are coming on as well, so that one should be a really fun episode. So why don't we just jump into today's news? First bit, the fastest combine in combine history was with stellar performances in the tight end and linebacker positions in particular. Historical in 3 position groups, including 1 running back with a perfect 10 RAS score, the relative athletic score, not to mention a 180-pound wide receiver who put up 26 reps on the bench press, which is 1 away from combine record for wide receivers. And usually big boys put up numbers 20 to 40. So, but the RAS is a relative athletic score. It's a metric 0 to 10 used by NFL teams to evaluate draft prospects' combine performance, speed, explosiveness, size, agility, so on and so forth, against historical data. A high RAS score often indicates potential, but it does not solely predict success. So it's a tool used. There was a trade between the Rams and the Chiefs. Rams receive Trent McDuffie, and the Chiefs receive a first-round pick, number 29 overall, a 5th and a 6th round pick, and then a 2027 third. So good for the Rams getting their picks. Oh, good for the Rams trading their picks. What are they saying? The Rams never seem to want to use their first round draft pick in a draft. They like to trade it away every year. I swear it's like they just don't know. They don't like them. Seahawks will not use the transition. They will not tag Kenneth Walker. And they did let Kenneth Walker go. Kenneth Walker did go to, I believe it was the Chiefs. I believe he was picked up by the Chiefs. Not that news. I'm gonna kill you, computer. Yeah, I believe he was picked up by the Chiefs. Super cool for him. They need, something better than Kareem Hunt in their backfield. So I think that's huge for the Chiefs. That's a big pickup. Arizona has informed Kyler that he is done, and he can have plenty of time to sit at home and play Call of Duty. They did let him go. Curious to see where all these quarterbacks are going to go. Lots of moves. The Colts did apply the transition tag on Daniel Jones. They actually signed him today, the 11th, to a 2-year worth, 80 million up to 100. It was 88 million for the 2-year worth up to 100 million with incentives. So the further he plays on into the playoffs, into the Super Bowl, how much he does yardage, they have some incentives for him to earn an extra 12 million or so. Let's see, the Bears. Oh, man, this one hurts. Center Drew Dalmer set to retire after 5 seasons. That's a huge hit to their offensive line. They're going to need a big boy to replace that. So now they will be targeting a center, either through free agency right now or the draft. And there is a good free agent center out there. It was the Ravens center, I believe, was a free agent. He's a pretty good pickup, in my opinion. Let's see. Bears send DJ Moore and a 5th-round pick to Buffalo Bills. The Buffalo Bills for a 2nd-round pick. And Joe Dellinger. The Bills will take on DJ Moore's entire contract. So that is a huge thing for them to do. The Jets tag Breece Hall. Simple, that's easy. You can't let your stud running back go. Cowboys tag George Pickens. That one actually deserves a little bit of a laugh. And they signed Javonte Williams, who continues to look better the further he gets from injury. So he is looking pretty studly in that backfield. It's hard not to look studly behind that offensive line, I must admit. I think any good running back could look good back there. Let's see. Not peak form, but still a bad good look. Yep. Salary cap for 2026 was released. It is 301.2. Right, 301 million. That cap just keeps going up. I think it's like 10 million a year. This one was rough for Brandon Ayuk. Teammate exposed Brandon Ayuk on social media. He's mad about BA's disgruntled post directed toward the 49ers team. His teammate spoke out about Ayuk not taking rehab seriously, resulting in scarring and an instability in his knee. He allegedly consistently skipped on therapy, resulting in any strength in lateral mobility essentially being destroyed. So, calling him out and saying he can't laterally move well because he's been skipping therapy days. Don't skip therapy, I can tell you personally. Do not skip therapy. And finally, we have the Raiders are taking calls to trade out of the number 1 pick. Not positive that Fernando Mendoza fits what they are looking for in quarterback. Totally called this one. Now, we would have had more news because the Raiders did trade away Max Crosby to the Baltimore Ravens. But then just a mere few hours later, when we woke up this morning, they rescinded the trade. They wanted their picks back, and they were not going to take Max Crosby after he failed the physical. Everybody knew that he tore his meniscus at the end of last year, so he's going to require surgery. But failing that physical, I guess they're worried about him not starting the season out and whatever else they be worried, so they pulled their concerns. But now it just makes the Ravens look really bad, I think. And then they instantly go out and picked up Trey Henderson, and to go out and pick him up immediately was kind of funny. 4-year, $112 million contract right after they called off the Max Crosby trade. So kind of crazy. Okay, so let's jump into our awards real quick. It's going to be a shorter episode. It's just me by myself, but I want to go over all of our awards, how our managers finished this year, and how everybody looked. They did pretty well. It's just going to get a little repetitive as I go each manager down the row. We do have 14 of us, and everybody did pretty good. There were a handful of standouts. Obviously, our winner was Vince. Vince gets a huge congratulations because Vince took the season. So congratulations to you, Vince. You won the season. We all hate you, and we're going to come at you next year. Beyond that, let's see. We'll start with Mario, who had 4 Spartan Shields. The Spartan Shield is the closest loss of the week. And he had 4 of them, and he did tie with the most. There was another manager, Richard. Uncle Richard got 4 as well. So those 2 managers tied with closest loss. So they were just on the cusp of winning each time. We have the Massacre of the Week award, we have our Conqueror of the Week award. So our Massacre of the Week award is our, I believe that's our highest score. No, it's our biggest blowout. Yeah, that's our biggest blowout. And then our Conqueror of the Week award would be the highest score. I might be mixing these up. I'm terrible at this. And then we have our banished one. Our banished one is the manager MIA. It is our manager that had the lowest score of the week and just team kind of shit the bed. So going through this, Mario had one Massacre of the Week, one Conqueror of the Week, one banished. And then when it comes to the Loki's Lucky Finds, we have the offensive player and the defensive player of the week, because those are our treasure hunters, our waiver wire pickups. He had one Loki's Lucky Find, which was an offensive player of the week. After him was Jess. Jessica had one Spartan Shield, 3 Massacres of the week, 4 Conquerors of the week. This girl's team killed it. And she was banished once. To be 3 Massacres and 4 Conquerors. And if I am correct, each of those Massacre of the Weeks was paired with a Conqueror of the Week. So she got both awards each of those 3 weeks. Absolutely crazy. So she was the leader with 4 Conquerors of the Week. Robbie was next up. Robbie had 1 Spartan Shield, 2 Massacres, 1 Conqueror, and 2 banished. We had 5 managers tied at 2 for the banished of the week. We never had a leader this year. That was how well-rounded and buffeted our teams all were. Everybody was so close to each other. Wins and losses rankings that I think just like, honestly, any of these managers has a chance to take it. And this proves it. Just no big outlier bottom of the team. So we have 2 banished. He had 2 Lucky's Finds, and they were both 1 and 1. So he had a offensive player and a defensive player. Next up is myself. I had 2 Spartan Shields, 2 banished. I was one of the 5. I had 5 Loki's Lucky Finds, 4 DPs. I got 4 defensive players and 1 offensive player. I was the leader with 5 Loki's Lucky Finds. The next closest was 4, which was Rob and Daniel. Both had 4 as well. So Richard, next up, had 4 Spartan Shields, 1 Massacre of the Week, 2 banished, and 2 Loki's Lucky Finds, a 1 and 1 split. Jose, 1 Spartan Shield, 1 Conqueror of the Week, 1 banish, and 2 Loki's Lucky Finds, both being DPs. He got the defensive players. So it's funny, if you look down the list, you can see who did really well with their defensive players and not so much with their offensive players. But it's just kind of funny. Next up, Alan, 1 Spartan Shield, 2 Massacres, 2 Banish, 1 of the 5, and 1 Loki's Lucky Find, an offensive player. Rob was next up. He had 1 Spartan Shield, 4 Massacres of the Week, and he takes that award because he had the most Massacres of the Week. He had 3 Conquerors of the Week, right? 1 right behind Jess. Crazy. He was the manager with 4 Loki's Lucky Finds. He had 3 defensive players and 1 offensive player. Daniel's following him with 1 Spartan Shield, 1 Massacre, 1 Banishment, and 4 Loki's Lucky Finds, all OPs. All 4 of them offensive players. There's our guy that does the OPs. Chas, my wife, right behind him. 2 Spartan Shields, 1 Conqueror of the Week, 1 Banishment, and 1 Loki's Lucky Find, a defensive player. Ollie. Grumble, 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 grumble. I lost my last game of the season to him. 1 Massacre, 1 Conqueror, and 3 Loki's Lucky Finds. He has 2 offensive players and 1 defensive. Raymond, 1 Massacre, 1 Banishment, and 2 Loki's Lucky Finds, both offensive players. And let's see, for our last 2 managers, Martin had 1 Massacre and 2 Banishments, one of the 5, the last of the 5. And our champion, who only had 1 Conqueror of the Week and 1 Banishment. 2 Loki's Lucky Finds, split evenly with a 1 and 1 offensive and defensive. So our champion was incredibly quiet this year. See, and like I said, anybody could have taken this league with how everybody played. It was that close, everyone. So Mario and Richard tie with the most Spartan Shields at 4. Rob had the most Massacres with 4. Jess had the most Conquer with 4. 5 managers tied with 2 banishments. Ollie and Rob are the only managers with no banishment. I will point out our winners right there, Ollie and Rob, because no banishment. That's pretty good. I had the most Loki's Lucky Finds with 5, and Vince, the big award, our Medal of Honor recipient. He receives the win. He beat us all. So, again, we hate you, Vince. Congratulations. So there's our awards. Thanks for tuning in. Tune in later this week. We will have a host back. I won't be the only one here alone. And then we're going to have 2 guests on the show. And I believe it should be Martin and Ollie. And we're going to talk Combine and all the free agency buzz that has happened, because we have a lot of moves that have happened in the first day of free agency. So thank you for marching with us. And as always, keep conquering.
And dreams collide, a council gathers with power of their guide. Jonathan the strategist with wisdom's might, Mario and Daniel warriors ready to ignite. Wisdom's might, Mario and Daniel warriors ready to ignite. Thunder roars, lightning cracks the sky, electric strings sing a battle cry. In this arena of fantasy and